In this video, I'm just going to show you a useful tool that you can use to help organize your projects a bit better in Logic. So it's not something you have to do, it's not something that will make a difference to the music in the project, but it's a little something that might help you in terms of organization whilst recording or mixing a track. And this little tip is using markers to lay out the structure of a particular track. So on this track I've got here, one I've worked on previously, you can see at the top that I've got markers to show me which section of the song I'm in. So I can easily identify where the verses are, the choruses are, and you can see where they switch over or go into another section. So it's kind of good to do when you're mixing and editing your tracks, because you can identify and go to particular sections more quickly, as opposed to potentially guessing where a certain part of a song might be in the project. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to do this, but imagine if I didn't have these markers and you or someone else said, could we check out the second chorus? Now, imagine you didn't have these markers. You'd have to kind of find it manually. Of course, you might know whereabouts it is in the project, and you can look at your audio for an indication as to where you are in the project. But if you do it this way, you know that that right there is the start of the second chorus, that right there is the start of the solo. So it's kind of useful. Now, how do you set these up? I'm just going to open up a new project here, so I can show you how you put down the markers. Make sure the playhead is in the position where you want a marker to be put down, and then go here, and then click this plus sign next to the marker. And if you double click on the marker, you can rename it something like intro, and you can add another one a bit later. With verse 1, for example. And you can play around with these as well, like that. Another way of setting up a marker is by setting a cycle range, like you might do for a loop. So I'll just set up that. Left click and hold on the cycle range and then drag down and release the left click. That sets up a marker for you that you can then name. And you might want to do this even before you record, or as you record, so you can see how the track will lay out as you put it together. You can do it just for editing purposes, or you don't have to do it at all. If there's a track I'm working on that has somewhat of a clear structure to it, I'll tend to put markers in, but yeah, it's up to you. Again, it won't change the music itself in any way, but it will help you as you navigate your project.